All right, people. So everyone in life eventually acts up, right? And the reason why people act up is because they usually do that to test your strength. They do that to test the level of resilience that you have. They do that to test what they can get away with and or not. And the reason why is this. Humans naturally are always assessing people. And one of the ways that people assess people is not just like how intelligent you are. The first thing that people do is test your resolve. How much bullshit are you willing to accept? Think about it this way. If you are a class of students and today you have a new substitute teacher, what do you think the first thing that students unconsciously, it's not even a conscious thing, what do you think they try to do? They see whether or not the teacher is a pushover, right? They see how much can you take. And why is that the first thing that they go to? They don't first do how intelligent you are. They don't see how nice you are. They see how strong are you and how much are you willing to lay down the law on them. And it all comes down to your non-verbal cues and how you react to disrespect. People will first break little rules. That's the first thing people do, right? If you're a new assistant teacher, what the students first do is see what are the first things that they could get away with. In the movie Wolf of Wall Street, Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio, he was an assistant teacher, right? Let me show you the clip. So what people first do, they look at your appearance. They look at how you dress. They observe all of the little things about you. And they assess whether or not you're somebody that's a pushover. If they sense any weakness, if they sense a sliver of doubt in your mind, it activates people's instinct to test you, like literally, because they judge you on your appearance and then they judge you on your behavior or your reaction to their subtle disrespect, right? So Leonardo DiCaprio, he was acting like an assistant teacher, and one of the things that made him look weak was his physical appearance, right? And it's like, as you can see here, the bully thinks he's a weak student and pushes him around, right? So this usually happens, like I said, because the first thing that people do, they cannot handle and they cannot say no to an easy target. And the second thing is that you send signs of strength and weakness, right, all the time. And the third thing is that if they know that you cannot fight back, they'll get more aggressive. So they first test to see what kind of defenses you have. Let me show you.
Frenches?
Okay, so he goes into class, right? This is obviously the guy who was a bully, right? But just observe his reaction, right? He's testing him, appears weak, he's looking around, and then he proceeds to do things non-verbally, right? And the reason why is because non-verbally just pierces more the mind. It penetrates the mind deeper than words, because words are everywhere. And we've grown accustomed to being bombarded by different people, different things trying to influence us. Father Alex trying to sell you guys my courses. This guy trying to sell you this. This guy trying to tell you to convert to this religion and that religion. And so words have become noise, and we as humans are really good at blocking it out. And so people a lot of the times waste their time trying to communicate a message verbally, and it never penetrates the mind. Non-verbal communication prepares the mind to listen to the words that you're saying. Before you want to penetrate the mind, you first communicate your authority, your disappointments, your feelings non-verbally, and then whatever you say is going to penetrate deeper, like this. Abagnale, not Abagnale, Abagnale, right? And now he's like, okay, this guy's strict. And mind you, why do you think that is? Why do you think that this gave him that feeling? Because the subtle things. It's the fact that he's like, it's Abagnale, not Abagnale, Abagnale, right? It's the strictness. He's like, oh, fuck, right? And let me put it.
But Abagnale. Now, somebody please tell me where you left off.
And he's like, everyone's not listening, right? So since everyone's not listening, they're testing him. Now he raises his voice.
Excuse me, people, if I need to ask again, I'm going to write up the entire class. Take your seats!
Right, and the only reason why he raised his voice was because if he would have came in yelling, it would have not had the same effect, right? You first gotta you first have to have you prime them with your non-verbal cues, with looks of disappointment, seriousness. If he laughed at any moment, if you try to be friends with them, this would not have worked. So when you're in the face of a hostile person, not hostile trying to kill you, right? But somebody who is testing your strength, like you see here, you first communicate it non-verbally, and then you communicate it verbally. You cannot be communicating strength and threats, like if you do this, I'll leave. You can't communicate that with non-verbal cues of weakness. It just doesn't work that way. Right, and even then, he was still tested, right, by saying, where did he start?
Chapter
what page
7.
did they start?
Will you please open your textbooks to chapter 8, and we'll get started?
When we get started,
Excuse me, what's your name?
Brad.
right, and then now he's being an asshole, right? But that's pretty much how that works, right? Let's continue. The first response should not be verbal. The first response should be a serious look and silence. That's the first response. A serious look and silence. For example, like the girl who was late, right? I told you about. She was like 40 minutes late one time, right? The first time we met. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I was like, she was like, oh, are you mad at me? Look, I don't mind being late, but you know, if we're gonna go out, I really don't like waiting 40 minutes. So next time, let's just make sure that we're on time. But yeah, anyways, let's go get a drink, right? My silence was my first response. Just look at her like, really, bitch? Like, really, you're gonna be that late, right? And then the next time she does it, I'll tell her verbally, look, man, next time you're this late, this consistently, I don't know if we could go out, to be honest with you. Because I already told you that one time not to be late, you know, like, and so too many people resort to making threats and raising their voices and trying to communicate their disdain with words. There's more power in focusing on communicating what you are saying non-verbally. It just penetrates people deeper because it's something that's wired within a child to pay attention to non-verbal cues. And so to tap into that inner child of a person, to get that reaction out of you where they look at it and they react in fear as a form of respect, not like fear of abuse. To penetrate that inner child where they'll listen to you, you have to communicate it non-verbally. Now, this is something that, like for example, like if I meet a girl and she's really late to the date, one of the things is that it's really hard to show them to be angry on the first date because she doesn't know me. She doesn't know my temperament, right? She doesn't know that I'm actually a very happy guy and very relaxed. But if she sees me get really angry on the first date, it might be, you get what I'm saying? There's an appropriate time to show this, right? But generally speaking, though, if they do fuck up, obviously you show it, right? But the first few minutes that you first meet them, if they're doing something disrespectful, that's a red flag. But I'm just saying that initially, in the beginning, don't show way too much anger. That's why I'm telling you it's better to first give them silence or give them a serious look, right? That's the first step. Your reaction to disrespect should be non-verbally, right? So it could be a look. It could be a turning away, or it could just be all of a sudden your voice changes. It changes from, hey, so how's it going, to, oh, hey, how's it going, right? It should be non-verbal. In other words, it is, I know I'm talking, but I'm communicating non-verbally through my paralanguage, right? That's the first step of when somebody's acting up. You check them with your non-verbal cues. You look at them. It's like a child, right? And the reason why this is because children deeply react to certain looks and certain changes in tone. And because of that, because that's such a deeply wired thing in humans, even as adults, humans react more to nonverbal cues of disappointment than verbal cues of it, right? In fact, if you resort to just verbally like attacking people when they're being disrespectful, rightfully so, it shows weakness. It truly does. I know it sounds like, but it's appropriate, but it's like, no, like, you first want to show them that you're holding in your anger, right? For example, it's like somebody who's not trying to laugh, right? If you see someone not trying to laugh, you actually laugh. because I'm thinking about it. I remember when I was in the meditation retreat, towards the end of the retreat, the guy, the main teacher was like chanting, and I don't know why, man. It just made me laugh, and I was holding in the laughter so much that the other people in the retreat, in the meditation, started laughing inside because I was holding it. And there's something about holding in something and showing something else that people react almost like the friction of both juxtaposition. People react with what you by internalizing or even like taking in deeper the emotional state you're trying to suppress. It's almost like whatever you're trying to suppress, people perceive it at a more unconscious level. So that's why when somebody disappoints you or is acting up in front of you, it's much better to just hold it in, give them that look, and they'll sense it, right? The next step is, if they keep fucking up, is to verbally warn them. Right, like YouTube warned me, right? Because YouTube said I was saying mean things, and they gave me a warning. Anyways, so yeah, so the warning, verbal warning, just a look, man. I don't like what you did. I don't like that you did that last time. The first time you did it, this is the second time. You know, I like you, but I gotta find out what's going on here. Like, is this something that's gonna keep happening, or is this like a one-time thing? You talk to them, right? You let them know that you had a problem with what they did. You verbally say something, and you see their reaction to that. So right after you communicate verbally, non-verbally, and then verbally, right, with your warnings, then that's when you start taking action, right? That's when you start pulling away subtly. You don't pull away instantly. You just start pulling away subtly. Maybe you stop hanging out at his house a little bit less. Maybe you start responding a little bit slower. Maybe you leave the date a little bit sooner. Maybe you hug him, but you don't hug him with the same strength. Maybe you give him a pat on the back as a friendly hug. Maybe you give her, maybe she can't sleep over anymore, or he can't sleep over because you're this or that. These things create doubt in their mind. Subtle pulling away after you verbally say that you had a problem with something. Subtly pulling away forces them to self-reflect. If you pull away completely, it's not going to have that self-reflecting mechanism. But slowly pulling away, every time you say you can't do this now when you could have, it's going to say, are they really busy, or is it that I did something? Like that doubt, the subtleness makes them wonder whether or not it's true, or whether or not this is just in their heads, right? So for example, let's just say that that after hooking up, you would cuddle with them, and now they're fucking up, and now after hooking up, you leave. Now after hooking up, you don't go get food. Like those little things, and you don't and you suddenly start pulling away simply because these things make people self-reflect, and they make people think about the moments they did wrong. And these and you're subtly pulling away will give a body to the threats that you've given. And if they actually like you, what will happen is that this self-reflection will cause them to fix their behavior. Now, if they don't, then you just start pulling away even more and more and more until it's over. Until it's over. Some people cannot be in your life if you're standing up for yourself. Some people cannot be in your life if you're trying to gain respect. Some people can only be in your life if you allow them to disrespect you. Right? And this strategy will show you which ones are those. Right? You first punish them with a look and silence. Right? So it could be that maybe you don't respond for a few days after they've messed up, or you give them that look. And then after that, if they ask you what's wrong, what did you do wrong, then you could verbally, or the next time they fuck up, you verbally warn them. And then you just start pulling away. You have to make sure you're gonna follow through, though. You can't make empty threats. It makes people lose respect for you. And it's one of those things that, you know, this is something that happens to everyone. You're eventually gonna find somebody who does this to you. And the reason why is because, you know, when we like someone, we naturally get weaker, right? And we show signs of vulnerability, and some people take advantage of that. You know, and it's not your fault that you are being honest with them, and it's not your fault that they're reacting to your love and affection with coldness and disrespect, right? Some people just have a disrespectful personality. Some people feel entitled, and you gotta check them before it gets too late, because if you can let this continue happening, you're gonna create an exploitative type of relationship, and it's gonna corrode you inside, and it's not fair for your self-esteem to have to deal with people like that, you know. And that's how you check them, man. I think this is the most important part in any relationship. If you don't apply this, you're asking for pain. You're asking for a relationship that leaves you unfulfilled and resentful. And this is your sword and shield. You have to apply this. But I want you to get away from the tendency to verbally threaten people, of leaving, verbally tell people your problems. Learn to communicate non-verbally. Learn to be a little bit more physically distant, a little bit more emotionally distant when they're fucking up. Let them put the pieces together. If they cannot put the pieces together, that means they're not paying attention enough, which also means that they don't like you enough to pay deep attention to the little things. They don't notice that you got mad. They don't notice your energy shift. That means they're not paying attention, and they don't care to notice those things. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to myfuattraction.org, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. By the way, people, all you guys, this hair is not going nowhere. You guys say I look like I woke up. Your hair is done like you look like you woke up. That's exactly how I want it to look. I like this look, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So it's not going nowhere. So stop asking for it to be cut. You know, y'all sound like my mom. I appreciate the concern, but because I read a lot of comments. It seems like a lot of people are worried about that. But this look is not going nowhere, people. It's Father Alex's look, and it's intentional. Because I like this look. Look at this. Come on, man. You don't like these curls? Come on, man. Don't be racist. All right. Take care.
All right, guys. We're going to have a brief intermission so that I can tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing, where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club video that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared, because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.